The shark feed is all about introducing divers to sharks and showing that they aren't that terrible man-eating machine that we've all been led to believe by the Hollywood movies. What we do is we'll take people out on the boat to a place where we have a population of reef sharks, and we'll take them in the water with some bait, and they'll get to swim around with the sharks in a very kind of safe manner.
I am nervous about it, so see how it goes.
I don't think you're really going to know until you get down there. When you actually see them, I think that's when your heart starts pumping.
I always love being on the boat for a shark feed just before you get in, because everybody sort of peers over the side and the sharks swim on the surface with their fins cutting, and I've seen people whisper, you know, you go first. And so of course it's always exciting to jump in the water first and see the guests' eyes as they get in looking around, but pretty quickly they realize the sharks are not interested in them.
The feed is going to be pretty much centered of the feeding area, and what's going to happen, because all the sharks are around, you probably get a little bump here and there and so forth.
Guests come here thinking sharks are this horrible, mean, man-eating machine. You know, 30 years ago, if you told me we would purposely get in the water with sharks, I'd say you're crazy. And 10 years ago, you told me we would actually create feeding frenzies and get in the middle of these feeding frenzies to interact with the sharks and take pictures of them. I'd say, you know, you've certainly lost your mind. But that's what we're doing today. When they first go in the water, they're always very frightened, but their fear quickly dissipates as they see how these beautiful, magnificent creatures swim up to them. And they realize that, you know, these sharks aren't here to eat me, they're here to see, you know, eat this fish that we're bringing for them.
Our shark feeders wear chainmail gloves for protection. The sharks, however, are only interested in the bait, even if it looks a little scary to people who have never been in the water with them before.
There's sharks down there. Never seen a shark before, so I'm pretty excited. A little bit nervous.
We get everybody to go down to the bottom. We have everyone kneel down in a line, and then the feeder comes down with the bait box, which is spectacular. If you look up, he's coming down with this box, swimming full of bait, and sharks are just swirling all around the box. And he comes right down, and then suddenly there's sharks just everywhere, swimming amongst everybody that's sitting there. It's a fantastic experience.
There's a very good chance that the shark will bump into you when you're down there, but that's kind of part of the fun. The shark is going to get the food from the feeder, and it'll bump into him and maul him around. He has protective clothing on, a protective chainmail. But as he goes around the guests, he'll brush them with his fins, and very gently, and I think most people enjoy that very much.
Scary, but amazing.
Oh, that was great. Awesome. So many sharks down there.
That was phenomenal. Absolutely awesome. What an intense experience.
It was unbelievable. The best thing I've ever done. It was cool. Wicked.
It's easy to lose the fact that these are actually dangerous sharks because it's such a controlled environment that you're swimming in.
I think when they first go down, they still have that fear that's all built up in us, that, you know, they feel the only good shark's probably a dead shark. But when they come out, they realize, hey, these are beautiful creatures, and they're not interested in eating people. They're just interested in eating fish. And they come away with a positive light on sharks, and I think they'll go and be part of the conservation effort on sharks.
We've come to identify a lot of them by different markings and things on their bodies, and some of them will go away for 3 months at a time and then come back looking as robust as ever. So clearly they are not only relying on us for food. We don't possibly feed them enough. They're definitely there because the food attracts them and it's exciting, just like you might go to the snack bar, but it's not their primary diet.
I personally have done a number of the shark dives here at Stuart Cove's Dive Bahamas. I'm really impressed with the way they do the dives here. I think everyone I've seen has left the experience a much richer person. Granted, you are changing a little bit of the conditioning of the sharks. There are typically more sharks in the area than you would normally find on a reef this size. But I truly believe that if you stop the feeding today, the sharks are going to be able to hunt just like they would normally before the feeding ever began. There are certainly some critics of shark feeding dives like the one you'll be going on. The science view is split. There's a number of high-profile shark scientists that believe shark feeding dives are a real benefit to the species because it draws attention to their plight. There's a number of ones that believe that feeding the sharks regularly conditions them. Personally, with the number of dives I've done in environments like this, I believe it is conditioning them to come to a certain spot, but I do not believe it critically changes their behavior.
One of the interesting things too is where we feed our sharks, we find that the reef and the environment there is much more healthy than our other sites because it keeps man away, and what I mean, it keeps the spearfishermen away. We've run the spearfishermen off, so now we have a lot of healthy big groupers and snappers, and they keep the smaller fish in balance, and the whole reef is much prettier and much healthier.
I call them the police of the ocean. They keep everything in control, and as a result, it truly is more abundant and lush in the areas where these large shark populations are. We have all different walks of life coming here at Stuart Cove to participate in any one of our adventures. The shark dive, of course, is a big draw, although we have many other activities. And I think they come here some to overcome a fear, others out of curiosity, others just because they want the thrill of being with such a fantastic creature as sharks. And they go away with an experience that they'll have for the rest of their lives. Many of them have videos or photos to show to their friends who are in utter disbelief that they actually went out and did it. And I think it's a real achievement for people to go out and do something that is considered so dangerous in such an amazing animal. And if it helps them to appreciate the oceans, to get rid of those fears, and to understand sharks and their importance in the marine environment, then we'll be happy.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Absolutely really
fantastic.
Yeah, it really was amazing.
For me, it's a dream because I love sharks, so for me, it's fantastic.
They're just incredible. They're all around you. They bump into you, but they're absolutely amazing. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I'll do it again.
We feel that it's a very small shark population that we're dealing with in comparison to what exists in the world. And if this shark population can be the ambassadors to create shark awareness and help save the lives of sharks worldwide by creating awareness and helping to stop long-lining legislation in the Bahamas, then we have achieved a good goal.
Okay, I'm ready for my close-up now.
Silence, everyone! First take, Stuart Cove Dive Bahamas. Action!
NASA has become known as the underwater Hollywood of the world. Due to its crystal clear, warm waters and beautiful scenery, it's a fantastic location for both divers and filmmakers alike.
That's why some of our dive sites are famous all around the world. Everyone's heard of James Bond, and you can dive on the very sets where the action was filmed.
At Stuart Coves, we have something for everyone. Of course, our shark experience is exhilarating and not to be missed. But we also have spectacular walls, colorful reefs, and abundant marine life.
The other thing we've got here at Stuart Cove is a great collection of wrecks. So whatever sort of diving you want to do, our team of experts is here to make sure you have a great time and a safe time.